Hey there, listeners!
Hello!
Welcome to Rhapsody and Reverie, episode 8.
Don't hate. We're here to...
Appreciate.
And it's fate that you listen to episode 8, because it's gonna be great.
This is dumb.
So, our hint last week at the end of episode 7 was that this band collaborated on a song with a band that we've already covered.
And the band that we are doing on this episode is...
Fun!
Yay!
Woo!
So exciting.
And if any of you slept on that song, it was Come On with Fun and Panic at the Disco. But today is not Panic Day. Today is Fun Day.
Yes, it's a lot like Sunday, but it's fun.
Arguably, it's a lot like Monday, but it's even more fun than Monday.
It's a lot like a lot of days. Anyway, I guess we can talk about how we first discovered fun.
Sounds like a good place to start as any.
Yeah, good a place as any.
So, how did you?
I discovered fun probably around 2009, 2010. And the reason is I actually discovered Nate Ruess's prior band first. If you did not know, Nate Ruess, before starting Fun, was in a band called The Format, which is an incredible band. I just... So it's funny because I discovered The Format through a game on my iPod Touch called Tap Tap Revenge.
Oh!
Do you remember Tap Tap Revenge?
Vaguely.
I wish I could say it was this super cool like indie discovery where I was like, yeah, I was reading some cool indie music. Nah, I was playing Tap Tap Revenge on my iPod Touch. But anyway, yeah, the song She Doesn't Get It by The Format was on Tap Tap Revenge, and that's how I discovered that song. And I loved that song when I first heard it, and I then was like, I need to listen to this entire band's discography, so because it's so cool. And I did, and I loved it, and I was blown away by the songwriting, particularly on the Dog Problems album by The Format. And then I wanted to find out more about the band and learned that they had actually split up already.
Mm-hmm.
And that Nate Ruess, the primary songwriter for that band, had started a new band called Fun. So that led me to listen to Aim and Ignite, Fun's first record. I believe the first song I heard off that record was Walking the Dog, and I instantly fell in love with Aim and Ignite just as much as I loved the Format's record. Because if you listen to Aim and Ignite, it definitely has a lot of the same flavor of the Format. It's not the same, but Nate Ruess's writing style is very prevalent in both projects and sort of acts as this wonderful guiding light. Although what's really always fascinating to me about Fun is that you have three talented individuals that are able to just come together and blend their styles into one cohesive unit. which has always really drawn me to them because they're able to balance those creative differences so well. Because when you listen to Jack Antonoff's other projects and Andrew Dost's other projects, they all have very different and unique perspectives.
They really do.
Yeah, they're all different people within their own right, but they all come together so seemingly effortlessly. They just have this magical sort of groove that they're able to fall into in a way that I imagine is probably very challenging to find, because there you hear so many stories of just people butting heads creatively, but I've never really heard about that with fun. Even now, as fun is sort of, they haven't technically broken up, but they are on a sort of hiatus. Um, It doesn't really feel like they've really broken up or gone their separate ways. Really, it feels more of just a fun. In some ways, feels like more of an artist collective than a band at times. It's like this beautiful brain trust that came together to create this exceptional body of work, and then they're like, all right, that was fun, guys.
That's a great way to describe it. Like I never thought about that. I never thought about fun that way, but that is a really on the nose point. Like, because they all seem to be doing pretty well with their solo stuff. But yeah, there's something very unique about the three of them as one cohesive unit. It's they're cohesive, and yet at the same time it's very fluid in that they can leave and come together whenever they want.
That was always very cool and refreshing for me. And when I discovered them, it was also one of the first times that I sort of noticed the care and craft of songwriting. Nate Ruess's writing and lyrics in the format, and then later on his work with Andrew Dost and Jack Antonoff and Fun, made me really sit up and take notice of the intricacies of putting together turns of phrase and imagery and metaphor in music. But yeah, how did you discover fun? How did fun enter your life?
In this super casual way of like when Some Nights and We Are Young like exploded on the radio at the same time, and they were in the top 40 for a while, and I was like, oh, this band is cool, and I didn't do any further research into that until coming to college and hearing you and another friend singing this one of their songs off of their album Some Nights, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting song. So that's what prompted me to go and actually delve into their discography, was talking to other people, namely you, who already liked fun. And I love discovering music that way. Because of that, I always associate fun with you.
Yay!
Because like you got me interested in them, but you also helped me think about their lyrics and their sound in a much deeper context than how I would normally approach a band, like in general. And I love that. So to me, they're as complex and fascinating and multi-layered as you. So I like associating fun with you. And they have a really fun sound. Now we're gonna say the word fun a lot.
Way too much.
Too much. But anyway, I don't have a great intro story apart from what I just said. So, without further ado, you want to dive into the albums?
Yes. Okay. So we are talking about their first album, Aim and Ignite, which is definitely one of my favorite albums, period, in the history of all time.
It's delightfully weird. Like it's very unique. And the first time I heard it, I was like, wow, this is nothing like how Some Nights sounds.
Yes, which is why I remember cuz as you said, I sort of was I guess I sort of helped you get into fun. I remember having a conversation with you one time and finding out that you hadn't listened to their first record, and
Yep.
I was just like I was like, you need to do this because there's so much you don't know about fun if you haven't listened to their first record. I get this way basically with anybody who ever tells me they haven't listened to Fun's first record. I'm just so adamant that you need to listen to their first record. Not to disparage Some Nights because I love Some Nights, but I also I just want everybody to admire the beauty and craft that is in Aim and Ignite because it's a beautifully weird album, like you said. It's so interesting, it's so cool, and we might as well start off this discussion with the first song because I think the first song basically personifies that beautiful weirdness so well. Be Calm is the first song on this album, and it blew my young adolescent mind when I heard it the first time. I love that song. It was so much a me song, again, which isn't a great thing. It's not a particularly it's not a positive song, really. It's this frantically energized song that is kind of sounding like a person on the verge of a mental breakdown who's navigating through life and is trying to reconcile all these different things happening around him. And I love the build up of all these different instruments in that song. It's just so layered. The ability of Fun to put all of these different instruments on this track and have it sound messy and cacophonous but still good. Cacophony on the surface is easy, but having it still sound pleasing in a musical way, I don't believe is easy. And Fun is able to do it in a way that makes you want to keep listening. And I love that about that song. And I also love how it starts very slow. You have that beautiful violin and Nate Ruess's voice in the beginning. It's very high. There's almost a quiver in his vocal, and it feels very scared and soft and small and afraid. And then over time on the song, it just gets more and more wailing. And it's just, oh my god, it's so cool. I could speak for years about this one song alone. I could go line by line.
That's the tell that you're in for a good listen. If you've never heard this album, if you weren't sure about it, go listen.
I Want to Be the One is such a good song. It's so cute. I Want to Be the One showcases a lot of Nate Ruess's strengths in songwriting too. Like his ability to write a really great love song hook.
Yes.
It's just so admirable. It's nice because when he writes a love song, it's sweet and it's adorable, but it's also not gross.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
Because people can get sappy and disgustingly adorable. But like when I listen to I Wanna Be the One, it's just kind of nice. For all the steps you take, for all you've overcome, I wanna be the one put it in a song. Like that's that's so that's so kind. It's so wonderfully kind. Now I'm getting all doe-eyed.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
But that's, you know what? I like it when music can do that to you. So, no complaints.
Yeah. Anyway, at least I'm not as sad as I used to be is super dope.
That hit me in the feels. I hate that phrase, but there's no other way to say it. Well, yeah, there is. That song really, really hurt when I first heard it.
Oh yeah, it goes right for the jugular.
That's how I felt in my freshman year of college. That's how I felt. Not that I had been depressed before. So like at least I'm not as sad as I used to be like the used to is a little whatever. But the whole seeing your friends have fun without you and wondering how they've progressed so far while you're still in the starting gate. I was like, "Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't need to put this in a song, but you did. You did."
You didn't need to, but you did need to. I definitely needed this song. As sad as it was, I needed it. It was
That's fair.
because it's kind of just confirmation of, oh well, you know, at least
C'est la vie.
at least things are kind of better, but no, they're not.
It's kind of a song that you can sort of use to pump yourself up in a way. Like I like that it has the tone and the feel of a drinking song.
Yes, it's
Like
there's a sarcasm, which is why it's oddly comforting.
in a way, I don't think I let me backtrack here. The drinking song tone is perfect because isn't that what you're trying to do when you're singing a drinking song and you're at a pub and you're trying to forget about your troubles? You're trying to make yourself less sad. A lot of drinking songs are depressing. Like we're talking old English, old Irish, whatever. Those drinking songs are just kind of sad. And the whole point is to laugh at the tragedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to look on the bright side, and I guess that's what fun is doing in this song, kind of.
Yeah,
I can appreciate it.
It's definitely it's a modern day drinking song.
Yeah.
It's a song you listen to when things aren't great and you kind of just want to forget about it for a while.
But they could be worse.
But things
So raise a glass.
You've been at lower points, so you might as well enjoy the fact that you're a few feet off the rock bottom.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a fun one to sing along to. Yeah, you can't get any better than the title. At least I'm not as sad as I used to be. All the Pretty Girls that's another fun one.
Yeah, it is.
That's like it's fun in the same way that Girls by the 1975 is fun.
Did you see yourself in this song? Because I wasn't a teenager when I first heard this song. I don't know. To me, I just jumped straight into just appreciating the lyricism and the original message, which is him trying to get over his ex and get into dating other people, but he's like not over her. And I have to say, I really like the line that's in that song. I'll say I've never heard the tune, but I have. I just hate the band because they remind me of you.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that lyric as because that's what I do this with everybody. I start associating musical acts or songs or what have you with people, and then if that person's relationship with me goes sour, I can't listen to that song or that band for a while. And I get it, Nate. I get it.
Yeah.
Also, it's a really clever turn of phrase, just the way he phrases it.
Yeah, his phrasing is so clever on all of his work.
Literally all of them.
Everything, every single line he writes is just so clever. It's what I love about Nate Ruess and his ability to write songs.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
It's not only a certified bop, it's also depressing as all get out.
Yeah, it's great because you dance, you're having a good time, and then you realize, oh, he's hurting.
Why are so many of the bands we've covered this season like this?
Because we're like this.
Oh no! No, but I really love that's something about a band that can again. We've done this 3 or 4 times now where we've picked bands that do that beautiful balancing act of having sounds that aren't necessarily depressing but somehow mirror very well the strained words because a lot of I love how this album is basically I'm stressed out and I'm looking for relief somewhere, but I'm not finding it.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's one big ball of anxiety, and yet it's a really soothing album to listen to. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I think the main reason why I loved this album so much when I first heard it was because it was so much an album filled with this frantic sort of anxiety and quest for peace and quest for relief that was all still elusive. I love that about this album because it made me feel understood and it made me feel like somebody got how I was feeling. And that's still how this album feels for me. It's just an album that makes me feel calm. As it is like the song Be Calm. That song, as crazy and frantic as that energy is, it makes me calm. Because it takes what's inside and externalizes it. It pushes it out of you. And I think that's what's compelling about bands and artists that are able to sort of play with the juxtaposition of depressing, sad, anxious lyrics and these positive instrumentation and musical constructs.
That's why I love Be Calm. Like to me, like when I heard Be Calm, like I knew in that moment, yeah, this is about an anxiety attack. Like you can hear it, and but at the same time, while an anxiety attack is not pleasant, the song still somehow manages to be pleasing to my ears. Like there's nothing about it that grates on me, like how your brain makes noise when you're having a panic attack, which is marvelous to me. That like you said, that they're able to externalize all of this internal struggle and make it melodic.
Yeah.
And I'm enchanted by that concept.
Do you want to go ahead and kick us off by letting us know what your favorite songs are?
Sure. So first favorite song is Walking the Dog. Because I love that. I love the beat to the song. I love the general. I love the rhythm. I love like the words are weird, But it's so great, and there's something about that chorus that I really identify with, even though I'm not sure I even understand. Like, there's something strange about the desire to be seen, and yet to not know what about you want seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not even sure completely what you want, but you still want somebody to see you anyway. Also, it's a perfect song for walking down the street too.
Oh yeah,
With your headphones in.
It's a strutting song.
It's a starting song. I wish I was in, when like people in music videos enter into that world and then suddenly things just appear, like fantasy melds with reality, and you're like, yeah, this is a music video. Mm-hmm. That's what I envision when I hear this song and I walk down a street. I'm like, this is my music video. It's great. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is The Gambler.
Oh my gosh, that's
because it's so beautiful.
Makes me sad and happy all at once.
And in doing research for this podcast, I found out that the line where he says where he talks about not buying her a rose, he's gonna just buy her a flower shop so she'll never be lonely. Mm-hmm. His dad actually did that for his mom.
So cute.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful love song of a life that's been lived. And I don't know. I appreciate that. I'm a sappy romantic. And I think number 3 is gonna have to be At Least I'm Not As Sad As I Used to Be.
Good choice.
Because it got me through some rough times, so cheers. It was gonna be Calm, but I was like,
yeah.
I really like the na 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 line, like the tone that the girl has to vocalize.
Yeah.
It sounds like an old kid's taunt, and I love that. It's so weird. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's something, and it's like his brain is teasing him and taunting him too in the middle of it. Yeah. So I like the juxtaposition that's there.
Yeah. It's such a great song.
So what are your 3 favorites?
Okay, this is very hard. Because I love all of these songs. I know I say that like every episode, but
this is harder for you though.
This is extremely hard because I actually love every single one of these songs. Okay, Light a Roman Candle with Me.
Okay.
Is gonna be my first pick because that song is probably one of the most genuinely peaceful moments on the album.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, specifically, of a very good friend of mine. It reminds me of sitting on my couch with my good friend at 2:00 in the morning and having conversations about life. Which is something she and I did at various points growing up. And so when I listened to Light a Roman Candle with Me, that feeling of just peaceful, happy contentment with someone, I think is there within the song. And so I'm brought back to those feelings that I've had in my own life with people. And yeah, I just think it's such a beautiful, earnest song of friendship and love and just overall contentment with the moment.
That's beautiful.
It's a song that makes me feel present, which is very difficult for a person like me. I'm very much a person that's in my own head a lot, but that song sort of brings me back to the present moment. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. Number 2, I'll go with Be Calm. Because again, I won't say too much about this since I've gushed over it. But again, it was a song that got me through high school, basically. Third one, I am gonna agree with you and go ahead and say At Least I'm Not As Sad As I Used to Be, because that also was just one of those songs that I needed to get me through the day sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes I'd wake up and just be like, I don't want to do this. And then I'd put on that song and remember, well, at least today's not as bad as it has been. So,
Yep.
mazel tov.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Sometimes that one sliver of hope is all you need to keep going. So yeah, those are my three favorites. But literally every single one of these songs is my favorite, honestly. Like, it kills me that we weren't able to talk about all of them. Take Your Time, Coming Home, Benson Hedges.
They're all just so impressive. Look,
Bar
you guys have
Lights.
to go, if you haven't, and I hope you already have, but if you haven't listened to this album in full, front to back,
to it. Do
Mhm.
not sleep on Aim and Ignite. That if you walk away with only one thing from this episode, it should be that. Do not sleep on Aim and Ignite. That is all. This has been a public service announcement with Rhapsody and Reverie.
Alright, but now we move into their second album, Some Nights, which was, again, my introduction to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll admit, when I first heard We Are Young on the radio, I got mad.
Why?
Because the verse hyped me up with the rhythm and the tempo, and then the chorus is very slow. Or not very slow, but it slows down in comparison to the verses. Like there's something, it's like a ba 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 ba. Like that's the rhythm. And I'm really bad at actually naming tempos, but it was fast, and at the time I was craving something a little faster, more energetic, and then the chorus comes and it's like ba da da da. It's like ah.
See,
I wanted it to carry, but the more I listened to it, the more I appreciated what he was doing.
yeah.
Like I got it later, but I'll admit in the first time I listened to it, I was like,
Yeah, because that's what I love about that song. Because it's the fake out. Because that song, it's easy to sort of want to brush it off with a title like that, or a title like We Are Young. You think, oh, it's gonna be one of those songs about living and partying and having a good time and being all like, yeah, we're young kids, forever young, like we're gonna go out, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna go to this party and all this stuff. But that song is not really like that. That song is it's
it's actually kind of sad.
Yeah, it's actually rather melancholy. It's just it's more of a in some ways it's set at like a party in some ways, but it's that moment in a party where you look at the chaos around you and you recognize the moment as being one of revelry and celebration, but you also are struck with the fleeting nature of it all.
Yeah.
Like, you recognize your youth, and then you also instantly recognize the fragility of it. At least that's how I feel when I listen to that song.
Yeah.
It's this feeling, it's this bombastic feeling of, yes, we are young. We can go out, we'll get higher than the Empire State, we'll do all this crazy stuff. But also, at the end of the night, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to go home.
I'm gonna
Somebody's
go to
been.
bed
I'm gonna have to
around
go to
11:30.
bed. I'm gonna live my life, and suddenly all these days are gonna be gone. I'm gonna
Yeah.
wake up one day, and I'm not going to be here in this moment anymore. And that's why it always baffled me that that song blew up as much as it did. Because I'm just like, guys,
Because the chorus is pretty, like,
guys.
if you take out the context, if you take out the self-awareness, um like the chorus is, tonight we're young, so we'll set the world on fire. Like, within the context of the rest of the song, it has a different meaning, but if you just look at those lines,
It's a party song.
It's a party song.
It's a happy
Within the
song.
scope of the chorus. But I think the whole tone of the song is not a party song.
Yeah, no.
But that fooled all of America and the world.
I guess.
For at least a year. To me, that song means something different. I gotta say, when I first heard it a few times, I heard the lyrics, like I understood that there was this my seat's been taken by some sunglasses asking about a scar. I thought that meant some dude was trying to steal his girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't understand that the implication was that a cop was speaking to his girlfriend because she had a scar that was a tell of domestic violence.
Mm.
Like, I didn't get that.
That's fair.
So
I didn't get it initially either. I thought it was also about a dude trying to pick up his girl.
Yeah, right? Like, I thought for a while that was what the song was saying, but it makes, give me a second, I need to get my story straight. It gives it a little bit more weight because he needs to, like, process. Like, it's implied that, yeah, he hit her, and yeah, that this happened, but that they've been trying to work past it, and that they've been. He realizes now that just saying I'm sorry is not enough. So the whole carry you home thing is, I'm gonna prove I love you by just doing things that show that I love you and not through words, because I realize that this is, like, to me, this song is a turning point in a relationship where they both decide we're gonna heal from this and we're gonna work on our relationship instead of giving it up.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's the actual interpretation of that song.
Well, who knows? Who knows? Like in a way, maybe he wrote it as I want this to be America's party song for the next 5 years.
I doubt that. But who knows?
I mean,
not to speculate on what the artist intends, because everybody has their own interpretations of music. That's why music is so great. I mean, I interpret it as it being about the fragility of youth, and you interpret it in probably a more accurate way of.
Well, and I don't know if there is a more accurate way. And of course, I didn't listen to the commentary album, where the commentary that was on this album, I should say. I think, though, it's safe to say that, like all the other songs that Fun has done, they're layered. There are different layers and different meanings that are all present in their music. So I think both of our interpretations are correct.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, like, yours goes hand in hand with mine, because our youth is fading and it's very temporary. And if we're gonna make our lives work, we better sort out our problems today, because this is not gonna last forever.
Yeah.
So, We Are Young grew on me. It had to grow on me, but I love it now.
I gotta talk about Some Nights.
You got it.
Because Some Nights is. I don't think that was the first song from this album that I heard. I think We Are Young was the first song, because I think that was the first single. But Some Nights was the song that made me super hyped for the album, because it is such a hype song. This
Mm-hmm.
this entire album, the Some Nights album, is so hip hop for fun. It's fun's interpretation of hip hop
Yeah.
in some ways. I mean, not actually, but it's them marrying hip hop influences within the context of their own sound. Um, and that is so exemplified on Some Nights, that particular song. And I love that song. It was a power song for me for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time because it just, the chorus slaps you in the face almost.
It really does.
Because it slaps you in the face with this question of just, what do you actually stand for in your life? What matters to you? What are you doing? Where are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
And where are you going? And I I love that, and I needed that. I always
Mm-hmm.
need that, and it's just so great that this song exists. I just I it's hard for me to say anything else, that I'm just so happy that this song exists. Cuz
It
I listen to this song over and over whenever I whenever I'm feeling lost. I listen to this song, and it
So when you're
just
lost and alone and sinking like a stone, you listen to Some Nights.
I also listen to Carry On. Carry On and Some Nights were definitely two of my sort of songs that I'd go to.
Yeah.
Carry On actually is a special one.
Mm.
It made me cry
Oh.
on multiple occasions. There are two songs on this album actually that made me cry. Carry On and
Mm-hmm.
All Right.
Interesting. Some Nights made me cry.
Yeah, I can imagine that it definitely has a there's a catharsis in Some Nights. I think
Yeah.
it's this there it reaches this overwhelming pitch of just
Yeah. It's the existential dread married with hope that you'll figure it out someday.
yeah.
So to me, I was like, oh, good. I have that to look forward to.
Mhm.
But why did All Right make you cry?
The line it's specifically the line, it's all right. I've got nothing left inside of my chest, but it's all right.
That'll
That
do it.
slaps you in the face. It yeah, I put that song on once when I was in the middle of um honestly when I was in the middle of having a panic attack.
Wow.
And I heard that line and I just started sobbing. Cuz it just felt so true in that moment. I just felt so empty, and I've I've
Damn.
it's just so overwhelmingly empty, but still having that chorus just say, I've got nothing left, but it's all right. Just, it was a reassurance of, hey, you feel horrible right now, but there's something out there that is there to make things okay. There's something out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, things are going to be all right. And yeah, it's definitely a song that I go back to a lot when I'm feeling particularly drained and beaten down and devastated, because it just reminds me that even in those moments when you feel like you have absolutely nothing, you can still choose to say, you know what? Fine. It's going to be fine. Even if it's just in a sarcastic way. It makes you feel better. Just to be able to say it's all right. Because you just need to hear that sometimes. Even if you don't believe it, you just need to hear it. Like, you just need to hear someone say it's gonna be all right. And so that was what that song did for me, and continues to do for me. So that's why all right made me cry. And Carry On is kind of more obvious. I think, as for why it made me cry, but I don't know. Yeah. Also, a note about All Right is that the lines are sort of in reference to a friend of Nate Ruess who was actually in or around the World Trade Center during 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And he was waiting to find out if they were okay. And that is also rather heavy. So, yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest tearjerkers on that album.
Yeah. To go on a little bit of a lighter note, since this got real heavy real fast.
Yeah.
It Gets Better is hilarious.
I love that song.
So I didn't get until fairly recent. I'm gonna say within the last year or so that it was not about the It Gets Better movement, because at first I thought that's what it was. And I wasn't the only one thinking this, apparently. Like, I guess some dude at the Rolling Stone wrote about how it was about being a gay kid and how it gets better, and Nate Ruess had to come out and be like, no, I'm not gay, and it's about losing your virginity.
It's about sex, guys.
And the minute I heard it was about losing your virginity, the song became so funny. From the opening with just, oh my god, what have we done? It's like I can't. It's a cheerful song already. You know, it's very frantic in its energy. I guess frantic like two nasty sweaty teens getting it on badly. Like, it does, in retrospect, evoke a lot of that. We're doing it in the upstairs bedroom of my friend, and we're at this party, and we're not supposed to be doing this here, but we are.
Yeah, it has this awkward energy of it. It doesn't really feel like it should work, but
no,
it works anyway.
It does.
Much like the first time.
And like you can pinpoint the part where you know he's orgasmed. Where it just starts sampling random shit. And he's going, oh my god, in the background, but like with synths on. Fading in and out. And like now, like I used to enjoy the song, and it's still a bop. It's definitely very danceable, and it's one of the few just straight up cheerful songs I think on this album. But now it's just so funny.
Oh my god, no. It's one of my favorite choruses on this album. What have we done? Oh my god.
It gets better. It's not always gonna be bad.
I know it hurts at first, but it gets better.
I'll learn if I keep having sex with you. Please.
If we just keep doing it, it'll get better. Alright.
Alright.
Let's do favorite songs.
Alright, you go first.
Okay. As always, it's gonna be tough. But let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and say Some Nights because is a great song for all the reasons I've already said. Second favorite, it's gonna be all right. Again, it holds a very special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna get sad again.
Mm-mm.
So
You carry on.
I see what you did there. And then the last one, I'm gonna go ahead and say Stars.
Interesting choice.
I love that song. It's such a great moment on the album as that sort of final note. I love how the ending sort of just devolves into this distorted vocal saying you're always holding on to stars. I love that moment. It's fun really leaning into the hip hop experimentation that they do on this album. They're really leaning into it and really going all out and saying, yeah, we're going to make this weird project and it's going to be amazing. And it is. And so they really play around with that. But it also still sounds and feels so fun. Like, as in, so much like the band. And that's what's so great about Some Nights is that it definitely has that hip hop pop influence.
Yeah.
But still has that unique footprint of fun. Every single song that Fun does, much like Bastille, Fun sounds like fun.
Agreed.
There's no one that quite does what Fun does as well as Fun does it. And I love them for that. And Stars is a perfect example of them really flexing in their craft. So those are my 3 favorites.
Cool.
That's all I'll say about that. Your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say Some Nights because, like I said, it's the balance between the existential dread and the potential for hope and for all the happiness at the end of the rainbow, and I love that. And it's such a poetic song, and the melody is gorgeous, and the beat is fantastic, and I love it. I love everything about that song. You know what? I'm gonna have to say, I really like Why Am I the One?
Oh,
it's almost kind of whiny.
It's so
but
depressing.
it's a really pretty song.
It's pretty.
Part of why I like it is because I really liked the music video. Like I recognize that song is now gonna be forever linked to this poor wandering suitcase that's just trying to get home. But there's something very tragic about always being the one to have to pack your stuff up and leave. Like you're always doing the leaving. And
yeah.
I get why that's sad. And there's a lot of sympathy induced in this song. This is like my Homeward Bound song.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about it. I just really enjoy it. And lastly, I'm gonna say Out on the Town, which is a bonus track, but it is one of my favorite songs that they've ever done.
Yeah.
Ever. I don't know why. It's another one of those, no, you know what it is? It's like the 11 o'clock hour number, where everything is coming to a head, and it's like you're at the end of a John Hughes movie, and someone's running to your window to like make everything right because everything has gone so wrong, and it's just the general energy of that song, and I really like it, and it's really beautiful, and it again, it does the balance between depressing and yet hopeful that a change can come out of this, and I think that sums up the general theme, maybe, of this album. Depression with a little sprinkle of hope on top. I don't know. But I just really enjoy Out on the Town. I don't know why even Spotify recognized it as being one of my top played songs when they did that. What is it? The summer rewind thing,
Yeah.
and it was at the top of my playlist. I was like, I didn't even remember listening to it that often, and yet here it is. And I really like the imagery of I'm causing a scene, thinking you need a reason to smile.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love that.
It's definitely, it's like a rom-com kind of song.
Right.
Yeah. Especially that line, I'm causing the scene, thinking you need a reason to smile. That's 10 things I hate about you, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
And that's beautiful. You need songs like that. They're just cute. They're fun. They're a little unrealistic, but they're nice.
There's a pattern, listeners. If you've picked up, if it's a sappy love song, I'm gonna like it.
Okay, we have feelings.
We have so many. I pretended for a long time I didn't have any, but I'm getting in touch with them. And Out on the Town is a beautiful song, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Mm-hmm. Now that we've finished talking about fun, I mean,
we did.
I could never be finished talking about fun, but in the interest of time, we've finished talking about fun, and it's time for our brand new, well, not brand new, we did it last week, but it's time for the newest segment that we've been doing on our show. It's our up and coming segment where we talk about artists that we have been discovering and sort of slowly falling in love with, or quickly falling in love with. Who knows? And yeah, we got 2 new artists this week. Do you wanna kick us off with the first one, Katya?
So the band I want to talk about today is a pop punk band called Junior Battles. I discovered them very, very recently. Like we're talking this past Saturday, on Record Store Day. And my goal on Record Store Day, honestly, it was an excuse for me to go out and buy some records. And I literally just picked up albums that I thought looked cool. Like that was my only goal.
The best way to shop for
the
records.
best way to shop. I couldn't find the thing I wanted, so I was like, I'm just gonna let nature and fate, kismet, whatever, take its course. And one of the albums I picked up was their 2014 album Rally, and it's so good. It is such a solid pop punk album. It made me fall in love with this Toronto-based band. They're so great. If you were gonna start listening, I would point you to the direction of the song 3 Whole Years, which is it's just great. They're the let me just sell them this way. They're the pop punk band for those of us in our mid-20s trying to figure out what the hell is happening.
Always needed.
Always needed. My only disappointment is that they haven't put out a new album since 2014. I'm sad about it. Please give me more.
This is your wake-up call, guys.
I really, really like your music. Please give us more. I also really love the last song, Sports.
Okay.
It's you are very good at, in the parentheses. But if you're interested in checking them out, their Twitter is @JuniorBattles. They're on Facebook as well, where lately all they've been promoting their pop punk Drake cover band Thirst Behavior.
Amazing.
Right? I really want to see them live, but of course they're in Toronto, and I am nowhere near Toronto.
Okay.
Fantastic band. Get on it.
All right. And the band that I want to share with you guys today is called The Obsessives. They are a Washington, D.C. band. They're super cool. They're also kind of a punk band. Kind of think less pop punk and more, well, still pop punk, but a different side of the pop punk coin, kind of more on the lines of American football, maybe even in shades of Hopalong, more punk feeling. Front Bottoms maybe might be a good comparison to if you knew any of those bands. I listened to their song Surfer Rosa off their latest self-titled album, and I love that song because it feels very summer, and I've been in serious need of some summer vibes, so having that song was super super fun to just like groove to. It's also super emo, which is great because deep down inside I'm still super emo. If you want to follow them on the Twitter sphere, you can check them out at _obsessives. And yeah, show them some love. Show them some love. Shows Junior Battles some love. They are both on our radar. We love both of them. And we love being punk kids, even though we're in our mid-20s now. But that's cool. It's all good in the neighborhood. You can never get enough punk vibes. Pop punk vibes.
Absolutely not.
So yeah. But thanks for listening to our new artist segment. We hope you guys like this. We hope this is cool and interesting to you. And if you have bands that you want us to check out, please feel free to tweet at us. Let us know.
We are always looking. We are literally always on the hunt for new music.
It's all I do. It's all I do. And yeah, also let us know if any of the bands that we've introduced on the podcast are bands that you end up checking out and liking, because that would also make us feel good to know that we're sharing the good word. And yeah, so that concludes our episode on fun. Before we end and before we get into our normal outro spiel, I do want to say and give a huge shout out and huge love to San for Men, because if you have been following us on Twitter, you would know that San for Men actually listened to our episode last week and said it was he said that it was one of the more on point discussions of their music that he's heard. Which, how crazy is that, guys?
It was the most beautiful compliment we have ever received. Ever. It was wonderful to know that an artist that we love has interacted with us in return. And
completely unexpected too, because I mean, we talked about this while we were doing the episode. We both felt very conspiracy theory doing that episode, and just we're crazy putting together all these weird dots of what if it means this, and this one word that he says that one time means this.
It was very much that meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie is like, Pepe Sylvia, like, that was us. That was, if you've listened to the episode, you're well aware of how crazy in depth we got into analyzing stuff. And he was cool with it!
Yeah.
He loved it!
So that was dope. So yeah, we wanted to share that moment, because it definitely was a surprise, a pleasant surprise for us. And also, it totally strokes our egos and makes us that much more excited about doing this, because we've been San for Men certified.
Yeah, we have, and we're gonna take that as a green light to go ahead with Jackrabbit the Musical.
Yeah, forthcoming. See it on a stage near you. Eventually. Maybe. Probably. Definitely.
We'll see. We'll see. If we write it, you'll be the first to know. So stay
If
tuned.
ye build it, they will come.
Yeah, they will.
But yeah. So now that concludes our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Twitter and Instagram at Rhapsody Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean. Leave us a rating or a review or both. Preferably
Please
both.
God, we thrive on praise and constructive criticism, but mostly praise. No.
We need validation, guys. Validate us.
Please.
Validate us like parking.
Please. And please check our website for updates. We do post them. Check the Twitter. That's always great.
Yeah, do all those things.
Do all of it. Subscribe to our RSS.
Share our episodes with your friends.
Yeah, if you like it, tell your friends. If you didn't like it,
tell them anyway.
Shut your face. We had conflicting messages. We're good. But really, we love and appreciate the fact that you keep coming back to listen to us. So thank you.
And if you don't keep coming back, it was nice having you for at least a little bit of your time. Because you have many choices in this world of what you spend your time on, and you chose us, and that means something. So thanks.
We're very happy. We're very happy about it.
Why don't we hint at next week's episode so people can get hyped? So what's our hint, Hint Master?
Our hint is this artist once had his music featured in a Broadway musical about a shipyard in England.
Who could it be? So that was our hint.
And see about Wednesday guest day if you know who we're talking about. DM us. Make your guesses. We will reward you with eternal
glory.
Something in Valhalla.
Eternal glory on the Rhapsody and Reverie podcast. But yeah, that's all we got for you. So bye. Yeah, See you later. Peace up.
See you later, alligator.
See ya.
In a while.
We hope you had fun. I want to be the one.
Oh, God.
That makes you hit subscribe on iTunes.
If you carry on like this, you'll be all alone.
At least I'm not as sad as I used to be.